Wicked is off to one of the biggest starts ever for a Broadway musical adaptation. It's easily clearing its way to becoming one of the biggest movies of the year. And yet it still may lose money? How can that be? We'll explain right now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is a joy as ever, and it is a joyous day. There's no doubt about that for the movie theaters, the cinemas that have been struggling and may have been going down into bankruptcy. Now they've got a little cheer in time for the holiday season, and you can give us some of that same holiday cheer by clicking the like button. Today we go to Nancy Tartaglione, where, folks, we're going to confirm exactly what we told you all along, and that is Wicked is having one heck of a weekend. The problem is it's going to run into Zootopia 2 in 2 days. Nancy says this on Deadline: Wicked for Good looking great with $228 million global opening. Biggest start ever for a Broadway musical adaptation. Now, how could it be that these kinds of things might still result in a movie that loses money? I'm going to tell you, it's not the most likely scenario, but that scenario still sits on the table, and I'll tell you why and what we'll look for to know whether it's going to come true. It says landing higher than projected pre-launch, Universal's Wicked for Good is in terrific shape, as it is now estimated to open $228 million worldwide through Sunday. But there's something very interesting in the next paragraph you need to see. It says, we had $70 million plus earmarked for 78 international box office markets, and are now hearing 76 is the estimate through what is now today, Sunday. Now, 228 million is the box office, but 76 million is the global. What does that mean, folks? It means that this film, and you can see 76 markets. It's not as if this opened in just a few of the big, international markets, and that's it. No, this is basically done. It's worldwide. That means that the vast majority of this thing is getting made domestically. And why is that a problem? Well, because, folks, if this is only doing $76 million worldwide, and if the vast majority may be made domestically, what is coming out in 2 days that could hurt Wicked domestically? Zootopia 2. And Wicked, the funny thing about this is they're telling you that it's the weekend, that it's its opening weekend. But Wicked has been running since basically Monday off of those Amazon preview deals. So this film has been going now for a full week. And I'm not trying to take anything away from it. I'm just trying to tell you that Wicked has almost 7 days in the can, even if they're going to tell you it's a weekend. And in 2 days, it's going to run into a fierce competitive force that is Zootopia 2. And so long as Zootopia 2 is not woke, then that thing's going to make a ton of money. This is all fantastic for theater owners. Okay, I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade here. What I'm trying to tell you is, if we now have this film at 228, and if it needs to make $600 million to break even, which is the number we think it needs to get to, which is a low number considering how impressive this film is visually, right? Stunning effects, amazing CGI. The fact that it only needs $600 million to break even, really a testament to how well they did in constraining that budget. Now, if it needs $600 million, and if it's at 228, but the global is dwindling and it's facing hard times domestically, possibly, well, here's what that means. It needs to reach almost a 3x to break even. The problem for that is most films, the investors are not interested in simply breaking even. They want a 15% return on investment. Now, we'll remove that for right now. Break even is fine. Can it do so? Can Wicked get to that 3x despite the fact that this film is not getting great review scores, despite the fact that this film is not a happy film? It's very heavy, it's very dark, and it's going up against what we presume to be a very happy Zootopia 2 and then Avatar. And those are two massive films that it has to contend with from now until December. Now, I think that Wicked is going to break even. I think that Wicked is likely to get into 700 to 800 million, with a slight chance that it could get to 900 million. $1 billion is tough for me to see, but I think this is going to make money. But I just want you to know that it's not still, despite this crazy good weekend, it's not a given that it breaks even. And the only way that you can get to a point where Wicked is not a given to make money after this weekend / full week is if you have a terrible scheduling error where they've got this situation where in 2 days they go up against what is surely the holiday movie of the year, Zootopia 2. Now, should they fear it? I don't know. I don't want to bring on a panel, folks. If you've not yet clicked the like button, do so. I want to bring on the panel. I want you to listen. We're going to chat through this about what this means for Wicked and what it has to do to achieve a success financially, even though the headlines are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it with Wicked 1 last year. It had a long trajectory in the box office. I would say it had legs. It lasted all the way through. Wicked was still in the zeitgeist all the way through January of 2025. So I think Wicked does have the ability to last through the holidays, but the fact that it is competing with Zootopia 2, I mean, that's going to be where the kids go. Then the parents are taking the kids. Avatar, it's a big one. I think that it's going to be very competitive. We know that Wicked 2 is going to make money. How much money it makes, I don't know. I think it actually also depends on the runtime. The runtime of Wicked 1 was about close to 3 hours long. And if this is also going to be another 3 hours, we know that there was a lot of speculation with Wicked 1 that it could have done better if it was a slightly shorter film. Whether that comes into play this time around, we're going to have to wait and check, but it's definitely going to make money. But these are movies that Universal expected to be $1 billion a piece. They expected both Wicked 1 and Wicked 2 to both break $1 billion, and Wicked 1 did not. And Wicked 2's got a lot of competition.
And it's got a less than desirable cinema score audience reaction. Folks, don't let that audience score on Rotten Tomatoes fool you. That's from the Amazon Prime experience, where the biggest Wicked fans you can imagine went to go see it. Of course, it's going to score highly there. It's going to be this weekend when you're going to find out what really happened. The tragic thing about this, Kadish, talking about running, this ran away from the Running Man. It hightailed it away from 2 flops, 2 disasters. Universal could have put this out last weekend, and it would have had no issues whatsoever generating tons of money. Now, it's got like 4 days. 4 days, 5 days, and then boom, here comes that darn Bunny and Fox. Why'd they do it? Why did they do it, Kadish? Why did they put them in a box office year where it has been flop central station, where Hollywood is on fire, and I'm not talking about the Palisades. Kadish, why did they bunch together 2 of the biggest movies of the year 5 days apart? How dumb do they have to be?
Well, they're looking at the holiday season, right? Because basically, you got people who are home for the holidays, they're looking for something to do, and there might have been some counter programming ideas behind this, because they're like, well, maybe the kids will go see Zootopia and all the gays will go see Wicked, who knows? But these things are scheduled like really far out, and I think that the actors and writers strike from last year really affected like the output for this year, and so like this year has just been kind of like a dud for movies in general. But going into the holiday season and going into like 2026, I think a lot of people are going to be ready to kind of actually go back to the movies, and so like they're just banking on like it having legs over the holiday season as a whole, as opposed to that narrow window that you pointed out where they're going up against Zootopia and stuff like that. Plus there are different audiences for animation versus live action. Kids by and large enjoy animation. For the most part, adults stay away from animation unless they're taking their kids to it. So I do think that they're kind of like playing the odds that more people want to see a live action family friendly movie than going to go see like a Pixar style movie or a Disney style 3D animated movie. So, but I can't read Hollywood anymore, man. Like it's just like the laziest explanation is usually the correct one, which is all the executives are dumb. So,
well, they don't understand that they obviously don't have the connection with consumers that they need to. But this is not difficult. This is not rocket science, right? We're not dealing with brain, listen, Nolan, here's the deal. I'm looking at a blockbuster year where 10 weeks in a row, if you added up all 10 of the top 10 movies at the box office domestically, they did not pass $100 million. 10 weeks in a row. And the week that breaks that record is an anime, is Demon Slayer. And then you gotta go all the way back to find a Hollywood film that broke $100 million on its own. You got to go back to July with the Fantastic Four. So why in the world did they say, you know what? We got so much success going on this year. We're doing so great. Let's put these two films days apart from one another and let them compete against each other. This is insane. This is absolutely crazy. And it's the kind of mistake that's going to ruin cinemas. And also, it's the kind of thing where they put themselves in a corner and we're going to have these headlines that say, it's breaking records, it's doing fantastic, biggest musical ever. And then it could actually still flop. Because after that first weekend, it goes up against Zootopia and Avatar.
Yeah, nowadays, real quick, I want to make this point. Nowadays, the streaming windows are so short that I almost think that box office is irrelevant to a lot of these studios because they're just looking at okay, how do we get more people into our subscription funnel for streaming, right? So until they go back to the 6-month gap between theatrical and home video and stuff like that, I feel like most studios just don't care how much money they make at the box office.
There's actually a study out, Nolan. There's actually a study out that some of these Hollywood companies they're investing more next year than they have before, but not in movies. They're going into streaming, they're going to video games, they're going into TikTok, if you can believe it. They're not going into movies. There's a fear that movies are done. What do you think, Nolan?
I think extremely valid because I don't think Hollywood recognizes the value and the importance that the movie theater chains had for their products over all these years. Truly, I don't think some of these, top level executives at the top of some of these studios really care that much if, say, AMC or Regal go to a land down under, if so to speak, because to them, it's all about brand recognition and, the focus that the consumers have on their products. As long as, say, the Wicked toys are going off the shelf, they don't care how it gets to the consumer. If they're brainwashing children or whoever have you with TikTok, or if it's being delivered to them via carrier pigeon, they don't care as long as they can sell it and flaunt it, I think this comes from a lot of things with these movie schedules, comes from, years of tradition, greed, incompetence. There could be many factors. If Hollywood was serious about saving the movie theater chains, they would have made a lot of course corrections a long time ago. But we saw with, during the shutdowns a few years ago, they were ready to go all in on this streaming stuff, and they've committed to the bit. And I think they just are in a position where they feel like they need to evolve, and they're just ready to leave theaters out the back door. And I think that's tragic because I really do think that that's eventually going to come back and bite them, because especially entering now the era of AI, where a lot of smaller time creators can make spectacles, on their screens with very little production studios to work with. I think that there's going to be a bigger renaissance in live entertainment, or something that could become once again a blockbuster, as opposed to here's superhero film number 14. Wicked proved that the market for young adult females was very vibrant and very marketable. I remember when I went to Universal Fan Fest earlier this year and I saw girls cosplaying as the characters. People love these characters, but if they keep diminishing and they turn these films into just, something you'll see on Instagram or TikTok, eventually that's going to lose luster. It's going to work for a while, but I think eventually the juice is going to run out.
Also, Pro, can I just interject real quick?
Absolutely.
I think that there's a broader problem here that Hollywood is facing, and a lot of it has to do with the migration to social media and streaming away from traditional TV and cable and stuff like that. And that is that the old style of marketing these movies is very bad. You had that movie with Sydney Sweeney that came out when she was like the female boxer, and
they made Sydney Sweeney ugly. It's like, you know, they're dunking on Sydney Sweeney. It's like, yeah, you took away what makes Sydney Sweeney, you know, part of her appeal.
Yeah, but in a broader issue, nobody knew that movie existed, right?
Right.
The marketing the marketing for that was completely non-existent. But if you look at even like the Smashing Machine with The Rock, you know, Rock's a huge star, but like nobody turned up for that movie either. And then you see like, you know, slightly bigger movies like Predator, Badlands, and stuff like that. Essentially, like nobody knows that these movies are coming out right now because everyone's spending their time on, you know, social media or streaming, and they're not seeing commercials. And studios actually like copy strike anyone who uses like their trailers on YouTube. And so, like,
it's the craziest thing ever. We can't play a trailer to promote these movies because they'll hit us with it.
So like there's no reach for their traditional marketing arms. And so like when you have like movies that are coming out in the theaters, the marketing for them is actually very ineffective. And so, like, I didn't even know Zootopia 2 was coming out until you said it. But so like, I'm thinking that because Wicked 2 is a sequel, because people have been wanting to know like when this comes out, it's got like an inherent fan base, stuff like that, who's been following this type of thing. I feel like more people are aware that it's coming out than something like Zootopia 2 or even Moana 2 or the live action remake of Moana, where it's like if you're not really dialed in to like, you know, that type of stuff, like you're just not exposed to it. And so like I think that the issue that the studios are butting up against now is that their old model for marketing their films no longer is effective or as effective as it once was because people's attention are in different places than where they would normally advertise this stuff.
I'm in full agreement. Wiz, I like your thoughts on it as well, but I'll add this to the conversation. You know, the box office as of right now for this year is about 2% ahead of 2024, which is shocking, right? Because this year has been awful. Where it's going to get worse, though, is that it's likely this year comes in under 2024, which was a bad year as well, because all of the success of 2024 basically came at the end. I mean, we have 3 movies left, but it's really 2 because Avatar comes out so late. Most of Avatar's box office will happen in 2026. So we're down to Wicked and Zootopia to save this thing. Again, it's running 2% ahead of 2024, but all of the success in 2024 basically happened at the end with these movies. Moana 2, Wicked, Sonic 3, Mufasa, Gladiator 2. I mean, like it was suddenly packed at the end of last year, right? And we got basically 2 films to try to catch up with that. I think 2025 is very likely at this point to come in under, and it's because, at least in part, of these scheduling errors that nobody forced them to do this. Nobody forced them to suddenly go head to head when it's been an absolutely dead cinema experience all year long.
You know, I can't blame customers for not going to movies. The Hollywood studios, the companies that be here they're not giving us their best. They're not sending their best. And the movies that are coming out are so middling in nature. They're so in the level of satisfaction that can you blame people for not wanting to go? Also add to the fact that these movies are going to be available within 2, 3, 4 weeks on streaming for a couple bucks. And I could wait a couple more weeks after that, and I could watch it for free on whatever streaming network I'm subscribed to. So why would I go to the theater and pay $100 to take my family and, you know, the floors are sticky, it's 30 minutes away. I could just get the experience at home if I wait a little bit longer. Also add to the fact that Wicked, and to the marketing conversation we've been having, Wicked for Good has not exactly had the best marketing because nobody really likes the lead actresses that are involved in this film. Now, sure, is that going to impact the box office? It's not going to hurt profitability, that's for sure. This movie is definitely going to be profitable.
Come on, Wiz. What are you talking about? Nobody likes these actresses. What are you talking about?
You know what's insane is they had a year to do damage control and they kept getting worse. There wasn't a moment in there where Universal was like, hey, Cynthia, hey, Ariana, knock it off. We got to make $1 billion here. And instead, it's just been a full year of, we went from Wicked 1, then at some point there was a Nosferatu Halloween costume in there for a Broadway show. And then fast forward to now, and it's the same marketing cringe. Can you blame people for not wanting to see this movie in theaters? Where is the why should I be excited to see this? Now, granted, if you're a Wicked fan, you're going to go see the Wicked movie. But anybody that's on the fence, I cannot blame them for wanting to wait to watch it at home.
One more time.
It's been a pleasure spending time with you. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and I hope you will be there for the rest of my life. I hope you'll let my friendship be one of the things that you're learning how to let in. Forever I'm here.
I don't, that's not English. I don't know what that warbling is, but I don't know how to make my vocal
I haven't
cords do
seen that. That's funny.
Here's the deal. The drive-bys are going to play the game, okay? And everybody out there, you need to know how the game is played. The drive-bys, the legacy dinosaur going extinct media, they're going to run the headlines this next weekend and tell you that Wicked is a phenomenal hit. And it will be for a few days. What it comes down to is this movie desperately needs to break $700 million. If it doesn't, then it is a disaster for them. It was intended originally to make $1 billion, but they'll settle for $700 million. They'll settle for making what they made on the first one. Anything less, and folks, it's distress in Hollywood. We'll pay attention to it. I'm not telling you which way it's going to go. I'm just telling you that's what you need to know when it comes to Wicked. And Cynthia and Ariana have done this no favors. And you say, Pro, you lie, sir, you lie. They're doing fantastic. Look at the box office. Watch the actions of Hollywood. Who is begging Cynthia to come join their production right now? Who is begging Ariana and saying, you're not just a music star, you're the new Hollywood? Nobody is calling them. Nobody is begging them. Nobody is texting them because they're freaked out just like you are. It is such fun getting to spend time together, folks, but we have come to the end of yet another video. Well, that makes the mainstream scratch their heads, pull their hair out, and wonder how is it we continue to do what we do. But you know what we do this for? It's for you. To keep bringing all the knowledge of entertainment, explaining what's going on in Hollyweird each and every day. And you can help us continue on that way by clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those algorithms. It's the notification bell. Share this out on your favorite social media platforms, and we would love to have you drop a comment right on down below. Share your thoughts because, well, your thoughts truly do matter, and we mean it. As we get ready to say goodbye, we end with the common refrain. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun. Jump into the water!
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. So I give them cannonball. Yeah! Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. Arizona. Pineapple pizza, Hawaiian asphyxia. Can't wait to be up 3 days of you and me. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.